I wanted to talk about Dr. Drew today. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this dude. He was on TV like forever ago. I don't even remember how long ago now. Years, like decades almost. Anyway, Dr. Drew is a TV doctor who used to treat addiction, or, pretended to treat addiction. I don't know if he actually did. Who actually knows? Technically, I think he has a degree. But you know who else has like who is officially a doctor? Sherry Tenpenny. This woman here, remember her?
The more shots you get, the more you destroy your immune system in the
God, dude. Anyway, Dr. Drew is going down that rabbit hole right now. The anti-vax extremist nutcase conspiracy theorist rabbit hole. And I didn't want to put it in the title, or I was trying to be really careful, but the new conspiracy is turbo cancer. I don't know that it's new, but it's really gaining traction right now. It's probably existed for a while. It's just taken time to kind of ramp up. The idea behind this new conspiracy about turbo cancer is the vaccines are causing a sharp uptick in cancers of various kinds in anybody who got a vaccine. It's false. It's a complete lie. It's fabricated. But Dr. Drew here, actual doctor, who actually, pretended at least, to treat addiction on TV for like ever, is spreading it. In that spirit, I want to talk about some of the other failed predictions from his fellow anti-vax doctors, specifically Sherry Tenpenny. I don't know if you guys remember this clip. It's been forever. If, you guys weren't even paying attention at the time when COVID started, people came out of the woodwork. I'm sorry, when the people started getting vaccinated, not when COVID started. When people started getting vaccinated, people like Sherry Tenpenny come out of the woodwork and start claiming that the vaccine is magnetizing people. You can stick keys to your forehead and stuff. Seriously.
A combination of the protein, which now we're finding has a metal attached to it. I'm sure.
Who's we? Exactly. Now we're finding? Who's doing these studies? There's no study published that says that.
Finding has a metal attached to it. I'm sure you've seen the pictures all over the internet of people who've had these shots and now they're magnetized.
I mean, it's a fabrication. And it blows me away that a doctor gets up there. And I think this is a House Health Committee for Ohio, I believe, the Ohio House of Representatives. She's speaking in front of them, saying that there's a magnetic component to the vaccine. Insane. This came out early July 2021, by the way, this video did.
They can put a key on their forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them and they can stick. Because now we think that there's a metal piece to that.
We think. Notice the weasel words there? Gesturing to some ambiguous authority, not telling us who, just saying they. Hitler did that all the time with the Jews. They are out to get you. And you see it all the time in politics today. Anyway, keep listening here. She uses weasel words constantly in everything that she says.
There's been people who've long suspected that there was some sort of an interface, yet to be defined.
An interface?
Interface between what's being injected in these shots and all of the 5G towers.
I don't know. She says not proven yet.
Not proven yet, but we're trying to figure out what is it that's being transmitted to these unvaccinated people.
This is insane. This is absolutely insane. This is the level that Dr. Drew's at right now. I mean, this whole turbo cancer thing is on this level. Almost. It's damn near it.
That are causing health problems.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was the end. Well, check this one out. This is when she claimed... she just made a wild claim. This is from early April 2022. Just listen.
The more shots you get, the more you destroy your immune system and the faster that happens. And it's anticipated. The German data says...
The German data. You hear the weasel words again?
That by the end of 2022, every fully vaccinated person over the age of 30 may have the equivalent of full-blown vaccine-induced immune-suppressed AIDS.
That's not even a thing, to my knowledge. I'm not the doctor, so anyway. I mean, vaccine-induced AIDS? What? That's an autoimmune thing. Autoimmune deficiency syndrome. AIDS. AIDS. That's what it means. Anyway, absolutely insane. What German data? Weasel words. And the word may in there makes it a little bit more ambiguous. By the way, end of 2022, I had 4 shots, I think. And I'm over 30 now. And it's, years. It's been years since her, prediction or whatever. Get help, for real. Quick interjection, this won't take long, I promise. I'd appreciate it if you watched to the end of the video, or at least a couple extra seconds, because YouTube bases its algorithm off of watch time. The more watch time a video has, the further the video will go. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I'm selling my book, Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses, 400 pages, and my second book, 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses, which is about 80 pages. And you can find them both there on the website. Audio form, ebook form, whatever. It's about my experiences within the religion and the history of the religion generally. The 100 questions are intended to challenge your religious leader, so I'd appreciate it if you give it a read. Okay, back to the video. What's crazier is that this woman and Dr. Drew, in the face of, their claims being false, in the face of being proven to be false, no one has immune suppressed AIDS or whatever the hell she's talking about. When all this stuff is proven false, she just doubles down. She says, oh, people are dying. You're just not looking, is all. Check this out. This takes it an additional step. It's not just magnetism, and it's not just AIDS or whatever. But listen to what she says to this dude. By the way, dude on the left is a Nazi. Full-blown Nazi. I mean, believes that Jews are running the country and they're blah, 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 all the stuff.
Stated goal is to depopulate the planet, and the ones that are left either make them chronically sick or turn them into transhumanist cyborgs.
Why would anyone want to do that? Why would anyone want to depopulate the planet? Really?
That can be controlled by and manipulated externally by 5G, by magnets, by all sorts of things. Now, I got dragged through the mud by the mainstream media when I said that in May of last year in front of the House Committee in Columbus. Well, guess what? It's all true. It's all true.
You're kidding. Seriously, this came out late January 2022. Late January 2022. So about 6 months after that very first magnetism video. And she says it's all true. Years ago now. And has she admitted her error? Of course not. None of them have. They double down.
It's all true. They talk, the whole issue of quantum entanglement and what these shots do.
When that word comes out, it's just going to be nonsense afterward. People who talk about quantum entanglement or quantum anything don't know anything about it. Like Deepak Chopra, is that his name? Chopra? Deepak Chopra or something? Wait. Yeah, Deepak Chopra. You know what? I'm going to write him down. I want to watch one of his videos sometime soon on air, maybe. Deepak Chopra. Yeah, going to look him up.
In terms of the frequencies and the electronic frequencies that come inside of your body and hook you up to the Internet of Things, the quantum entanglement that happens immediately after you're injected, and
the Internet of Things.
You get hooked up to what they're trying to develop. It's called the hive mind, and they want all of us there as a node and as an electronic avatar that is an exact replica of us, except it's an electronic replica. It's not our God-given body that we were born with. And all of that will be running through the metaverse that they're talking about. All of these things are real, Stu. All of them. Yeah. And it's happening right now. So
Dude, I'm sorry, man. Wait. This is f***ing wild. Got the duck quack. Yeah, this is f***ing wild. Quick interjection. This won't take long, I promise. I just want to say I'd appreciate it if you check my Patreon. owenmorgan.com/Patreon to find it. YouTube's algorithm goes up and down, so I can never predict where it's going to be. Having patrons gives me some level of stability. Okay, back to the video.
It's not some science fiction thing happening out in the future. It's happening right now in real time.
Yeah. No, it's not. It wasn't then. It's not now. Anyway, Dr. Drew is spreading this stuff. Well, something tangential to that conspiracy, at least. Before COVID came to America, or before we detected it and before it really started, before we started taking it seriously as a country, I think February 22nd, 2020, the stock market took a massive dive in the U.S. So that's kind of my line for when I think people started taking it seriously. February 22nd, 2020, give or take. Before that point, Dr. Drew was saying that it's not anything to worry about. People are freaking out. They're fear-mongering. You don't have to think about it that much. It's not a big deal. talking about COVID because people were getting pretty freaked out about it. And after April 2020, to his credit, he came out and apologized and said we should be taking it seriously and people should follow the advice of Anthony Fauci. Super respectable, honestly. I didn't take it seriously at first either. Like, I don't know, back in 2019, when I very first heard about it, I didn't think anything of it because I'd never seen a pandemic like that before. And I said, I don't think this is going to be a big deal. And guess what? I reversed course the moment that it looked like this is real, or the moment I realized that this is real, I reversed course. Well, some people can't do that. They don't know how to say, oops, or I don't know, or I'm sorry. They have no clue how to say that stuff. So anyway, Dr. Drew is on his show here, spreading the turbo cancer conspiracy. Let's give it a listen. And while we do, we're going to play some Mario Odyssey. I don't know if you guys have seen this or played it or whatever. It'll just be in the background. Won't bother you too much. All right, let's listen to Dr. Drew here.
.com/Drew and get a free luxury spa box that includes their incredible
Oh my God, it's his ad.
neck treatment, a free gift plus free shipping. That is
Free neck treatment.
Genucel.com/Drew, GENUCEL.com/DREW.
Please don't do that. If you want this stuff, then go to him directly. Don't give him money. But, you know, if he's endorsing it, I'm very, very suspicious.
As I said, too much show today going on here. Dave Rubin will be here just a second. His book, of course, is Don't Burn This Book. Thinking for Yourself in the Age of Unreason.
God, that's such a stupid... Because Dave Rubin is so anti-intellectual now. Does not stand for free speech to any degree at this point. Pretends to, but he doesn't.
That's going to be the theme for the show because Dr. McCullough, who is in studio with me, will remain so throughout the course of the program. We were just talking about the unreasoned sort of nonsense that went on during COVID that we had to endure.
Unreasoned nonsense during COVID. Okay, go on.
It was extraordinary. A brand new problem, a brand new virus.
Was not a brand new virus. We had coronaviruses before, and we've known that, this version of a coronavirus, roughly, give or take, was in bats for a long time. There's some, I think, minute physics video out there, maybe, or some video on YouTube out there that's from like 2015 or something. And it shows, this dude talking about the fact that a coronavirus would appear and probably be a problem at some point. We've known about it for a very long time, but okay, go on and propagandize, I guess.
The unreasoned sort of nonsense that went on during COVID that we had to endure.
It was extraordinary. A brand new problem, a brand new virus that none of us had encountered before. And before we knew it, we couldn't talk about it.
You can't talk about it? We're talking about it now. What do you mean you can't talk about it? Of course you can.
Forbidden.
You can't propagandize about it, or you couldn't at the time. Like when it first came out, I think you couldn't propagandize about it on social media because you would just get like banned or whatever from that platform for propagandizing, for lying about it, for telling people that you'd be magnetized by the vaccine or whatever. They just ban you from the social media network. But you were never like banned from talking about it. You can stand on the street corner all day and say whatever you want about it. Always could. That is the nature of free speech. You can stand on a street corner and say whatever you want, but social media companies have no obligation to host you and your insane ideas.
Everything was safe. Everything that they determined was safe or useful was safe and effective, and everything else was dangerous. It was
You hear that? The use of the weasel words there? They? Everything they determined was safe and effective or whatever? Who's they?
the weirdest thing I've ever been through my whole life. We lived through the AIDS pandemic or epidemic, and we were careful.
No, it's a pandemic, AIDS is. And yeah, AIDS was a full-blown pandemic. It was bad. It was really, really ugly. We don't even realize now because, you know, a lot of us didn't live through it, but it took the lives of so many members of the LGBT community. Really ugly.
Fully discussing everything all the time, like a tumor board all the time. Anyway, follow Dr. McCullough.
He says he discussed AIDS all the time during the pandemic. well, social media didn't exist, first of all, at the time. You can talk about it, COVID, just as much now as you could talk about AIDS back then. And Dr. Drew, I would guess, was probably propagandizing about AIDS too, honestly.
At petermcculloughmd.substack.com, petermcculloughmd.com.
Hard pass.
Are you on X? Yes, at Peter P_McCullough MD, MCCULLOUGH. But we had a 3-shot here where my second guest, you just saw her on camera, which is Steph Colson. We're going to discuss some products with her first because...
Going to discuss products with her. My God, how many sponsors does this dude have? That's crazy. I don't have any. Well, I have one myself. OwenMorgan.com, by the way, to check out my book about Jehovah's Witnesses, Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses, and 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses. Just an FYI. I'm so glad my name is easy to spell. You had to spell the dude's name out just now.
Well, I want to mention before I do get to you, that we were talking about functional medicine, and you were saying that you have patients that need stuff like this.
For sure. We get to a point I'm a traditional allopathic doctor. I see and examine patients.
Dude is a doctor. Seriously.
As an internist and cardiologist, and largely I prescribe drugs, prescription drugs. But there's an entire world out there of nutraceuticals, a variety of other products. There's hands-on physical aspects of things, novel approaches that we are now finding are so complementary and help our patients so much.
Well, I was just thinking.
Okay, that sounded like a bunch of nonsense. What the hell did that even mean? Medicine helps patients? Wow, that's revolutionary. I had no idea. Brand new information to me.
About some of the stuff that we're on the wellness company medical board, and I use this sleeping product. I'm laughing because I rave about it all the time. But that ashwagandha and dandelion root, I would normally be like, well, maybe. Oh my goodness.
Dude, are they endorsing a product that they built or whatever? He just said he's on the board or something?
They're like what's called restful sleep. Anyway, Steph, tell us your story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Just some smooth product placement there.
I'm Steph Colson. My husband is Foster Colson, who started the wellness company that, of course, you guys are both a part of. And I watched what you guys...
Dude, are they going to get to the stuff, or is this just all ads? Really?
Western Medicine Society, we've come a bit too far. Where...
Okay, hold on.
Antidepressants at women,
there
which I now find borderline reprehensible.
Yeah, it's so true. And it feels like obviously medical doctors 100% have their place, right?
Of course.
And we all need you guys in our times of need. But
this preamble is leading up to her saying we don't need doctors, isn't it?
There are also things where I feel like in our Western Medicine Society, we've come a bit too far, where you're having hormonal issues, you're having excessive bleeding, we'll just have an ablation. Well, scar tissue.
I'm sorry?
Tissue in the body is kind of a problem, or get your uterus out. And those are kind of your
who the hell is saying that?
Cut and dry answers. Well, what if you can do something else? And that was sort of my journey, is that
if people can do something else other than take a uterus out, they will do it. Nobody wants to do that. Are you serious?
My hormones entirely fell apart at the age of 28 after the birth of my daughter. And all of my hormonal testing showed that I had the hormonal levels of a 65-year-old woman.
Oh, you were getting early menopause sort of picture.
Completely. Yeah. Hot flashes, night sweats.
Oh boy.
The massive amounts of anxiety.
Did anybody...
This is really sad, man. Dr. Drew is very clearly knowledgeable about this subject, about medicine. He knows medicine. And this dude is shamelessly propagandizing. Why?
They try to... People, first of all, as men, I had to apologize to Naomi Wolf for sort of blowing off the menstrual irregularities associated with the vaccine and things. I'm like, Naomi...
I'm sorry? He had to apologize to somebody for the what?
As men, I had to apologize to Naomi Wolf for sort of blowing off the menstrual irregularities associated with the vaccine and things. I'm like, Naomi, menstrual everything. I mean, women,
Okay, I think that there was some menstrual irregularity associated with COVID or the vaccine or both. I don't remember now. But he had to apologize to somebody for this? The hell are you talking about?
I was so mad
I was
at
one of
myself.
those people, I'm just going to say.
I know, and I was so mad. It was so sexist. It was so misogynistic. It was so inappropriate to me, and I apologize to her to this day. But that this...
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Really affects your functioning, your affect, your ability to parent.
Entire life.
And if you want to have more children, it certainly affects fertility.
Of course.
It's a massive thing that we have blown off as a male-dominated sort of medical system. Right?
Oh my God, dude. This guy is using populist language, okay? So he's trying to appeal to a group of people, or he's trying to pretend to appeal to a group of people that he doesn't really care about appealing to. Like, people on the left are not watching Dr. Drew to get, well, I hope they're not anyway, to get their information about COVID and other stuff. And he's talking about misogyny and stuff. Like, this dude gives a shit about any of that. So is this guy, like, in favor of the feminist movement then? If he's talking about, like, misogyny and all that?
But you know, some of the biggest studies of vaccine side effects, and particularly even shedding, that is a vaccinated person or
vaccine shedding is not happening with the COVID vaccine. Now, I looked into it pretty heavily, and I discovered that vaccine shedding is a thing that exists, but it's only in very unique cases. Like, for example, one of the big problems with low-cost vaccines or vaccines in countries that are, like, underdeveloped or impoverished or whatever, one of the big problems with this is these vaccines are extremely inexpensive. They're cheap, you know, because you want to get as many vaccines as you possibly can to as many people as possible. And one of the ways they make vaccines is by killing the virus, basically, and injecting the dead DNA, truncating the dangerous part and injecting DNA into you, or just giving you the DNA to drink in, like, you know, drinkable form. That's a form of vaccine also. And these companies were not doing a good job of making the vaccines. Oh my God, dude, I suck. I suck at this game. And they weren't completely killing the virus. And sometimes that would lead to infections, and sometimes it would lead to shedding the illness as a result of getting the infection from the vaccine. That is not a thing with mRNA vaccines. It's completely fabricated. Well, it's not the case with COVID vaccines. I'm not a doctor. I'm not well informed. I'm just a dude trying to figure this out. That's all. But I do know for a fact that there's no vaccine shedding with any of the major COVID vaccines that were released or approved by the FDA in the United States. Zero shedding.
patients sick with COVID around somebody who is not are actually done on menstruation. Some of the biggest one.
That's completely fabricated. You hear what he just said?
That is a vaccinated person or a patient sick with COVID around somebody who is not are actually done on menstruation.
That's just nonsense. Someone who gets vaccinated and goes around somebody who's not vaccinated, and now they're both having odd symptoms. No, that's completely made up.
Some of the biggest one, a big one in the UK is called the EVA Project. And what I recall from that is 75% of women are affected. Their menstrual cycle is affected by SARS-CoV-2 in some way. The infection or...
Wow, you're telling me that COVID affected people negatively? Knock me over with the feather. That is wild stuff. Hold on. Just stop everything. You trying to tell me everybody was adversely affected by this virus? That's crazy.
Or the vaccine.
One of those women.
Because remember, we have this cycle. It's a very delicate time cycle.
So do you think that you were a vaccine or COVID reaction or both?
Oh my God. It's a very delicately timed cycle.
So I am unvaxxed, and every time that I would leave my home to be in a crowd around lots of vaccinated people in a sports arena, on an airplane, within 3 to 4 hours, I would start to bleed. No matter what.
Well, and did she get vaccinated, or did she have COVID, or what? I don't even know. Can we see like any proof of this? Do you have any kind of anything? Can you tell us anything that gives us reason to believe a word out of your mouth? I will take anything. If she's telling us we should go turn to Eastern medicine, like chanting and meditation and stuff. Great, yeah. Eastern medicine isn't a problem. It's Eastern medicine from the 1600s that she's talking about. We don't care about what they were doing in the 1600s, okay? I certainly don't, and she shouldn't, as far as medicine goes. other than to make sure we're not doing that anymore. You know, George Washington, you know how he died? He had a fever, and they believed that if they got enough blood out of his system, the fever would go away. So they start draining him of blood until the fever drops. These are like 102 or something like that. And they just kept sucking blood out of the dude, like vampires, until he died of blood loss. I don't care what they were doing in the 1600s, Eastern or Western medicine. Jesus Christ, dude. These nutters don't know how to say I was wrong. Funds for the feline overlords, hail bass. Appreciate that, narrow call. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They don't. And that is, honestly, one of the most valuable and important things that I ever learned in my entire life. I had to learn how to say I was wrong and I don't know. I don't know is probably the most important because people pretend to know things that they don't, or they feel they need an answer. They have to fill it in with something. Like, no, you don't. You don't have to fill it in.
Part of my cycle I was at. And I would continue spotting the entire time that I was away, whether it was a week or a day. And
away from home, or?
And it was constant for me for almost a year.
So that helped motivate you to create some of these products.
But I mean, I took this.
Create some of these products. Oh my God, they're Shilling products right now. Are you kidding? Oh God, dude, this is just terrible.
Spike support that you guys know all about. And within probably 3 months of taking it, that stopped for me completely. I have no irregularities, no reaction.
Okay, and what is this stuff? What'd she say it was?
I mean, I took the spike support that you guys know all about, and
Spike support, Amazon. Is this anything like that stuff that you could buy? Or I'm sorry, is it like that little electric thing that you put in your pocket and it runs on batteries and it's supposed to be an anti-vaccine shedding air purifying device that'll protect you from shedding? Is this just taking advantage of gullible morons? Is that what this is? Spike support formula? Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Wow, dude. Essential enzymes for healthy immunity. Totally. And what is it exactly that's in it? Oh, it says herbal extracts. Okay, great. Wow, that's super helpful. Fantastic. Herbal extracts. Because they were doing so well in the 1600s, right? Okay.
Within probably 3 months of taking it, that stopped for me completely. I have no irregularities, no reactions.
That's about it.
Nothing.
So spike support is its base ingredient.
Dude, this is shameless.
It is nattokinase, a Japanese invention, 1,000 years old. It's derived from the fermentation of soy.
Dude, okay. It's 1,000 years old? You think they were doing better medically 1,000 years ago than we are now? What kind of a fantasy land do you live in? If for no other reason than the fact that we understand the scientific method and implement it more adequately today, our medicine is better for that reason alone, if no other. I mean, we had the scientific method like, what was it, 2,000 years ago or so, or 3,000? I don't remember. I think, what was it, Hippocrates or something? It was the Greeks that kind of invented the scientific method, right? So it's existed for like ever, but it's sucked. Like people haven't implemented it properly or at all until fairly recently. And it wasn't just the United States that did it, by the way. This isn't a Western medicine thing. It was the entire world has moved over to this method of like creating medicine and doing science and all of that.
Combined with 5 minor products that actually all have an evidence base to help the body manage the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein.
Wait, he said they have an evidence base to help the body. What does that mean? An evidence base? Did he just want to stick the word evidence in there so people feel more confident about it? Is that what he's doing?
Mm-hmm. And it really, and the timing is perfect. It's about 3 months. It's not instantaneous. We always tell patients it's going to take a long time.
Really? Wow. It's going to take a long time. Don't expect results anytime soon.
Because these are forms of enzymes and natural substances that really have to get in the body and circulate. And the body has to see these from an oral ingestion perspective a couple times a day.
Mm.
From an oral ingestion perspective a couple times a day. Wow. Okay.
And so there you were. You got better. And then you decided you wanted to do this?
Dude, this is shameless. This whole thing is an ad, by the way, what we're listening to right now. It's all an ad. He's advertising for this woman who apparently, is selling this spike protein shit or whatever.
I mean, I went through my whole health journey after my daughter was born, as I said, and I knew that there was a different way to do things.
You know, he might actually like get in trouble for this. Who is it? The FTC? I think it's the FTC. They take this stuff really seriously. You have to make sure that you tell an audience when something is an advertisement. And if you don't tell an audience that, you can get in some real shit. You can be fined out the wazoo for that. Like, it happened to one of the Jenners a while back. One of the Jenners was advertising some cryptocurrency. And she didn't tell anybody that she was like invested in it and it was going to be beneficial to her, or she's being paid to do this or whatever. And now she's being investigated, I think. Anyway, they take that shit real seriously.
Because
this whole thing is an ad, all of it.
Took it into my own hands, right? That's something we talk about with medical freedom. You really have to own your wellness. You have to be your own advocate. Sometimes you got to do your own research.
Oh my God, please don't say that.
Figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I really believe that every body is different, right? Every person is different. What works for me is not going to work for you necessarily.
Sure, but we know for a fact that aspirin in 99% of cases is going to alleviate headaches or whatever, right? 90-something% of the time, medicines are going to work. Yeah, there are these outlying cases, and we should like look into ways to help people who are, who this isn't working for or whatever. Yes, sure, absolutely. But it's not like saying everybody is different it's just dumb as dog shit. I'm sorry, man. I don't like insulting people. I don't like being the dude that's always dogging on people like that. But I don't know how else to say it.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas.
You know what? I think that this one applies too.
Somebody says, what's your favorite denomination? Hundreds are good with me, praise God. 50s, 20s work.
That's Greg Locke, man.
I've lived for the Lord my whole life, and I was dumb as a box of rocks and didn't know it.
Knock me over with a feather. That one was Shane Vaughn. Thank you, Shane, for your input on the subject. Anyway, I feel like that's what we're working with right now. People on that level.
Necessarily.
Oh, and they're doctors. Well, the two on the outside are. I don't think the woman is a doctor.
That's okay, but you have to be willing to do the trial and error. And I did that.
And you found some of these things?
I did. I absolutely did. And then I watched how TWC was able to help people's lives. And I thought, well, I want to do this for women.
I've been a big fan of the trifecta.
It's pretty amazing.
Because I was I'm screwing around with my diet all the time, and I was on carnivore for a long time. And in the carnivore world will tell you got to eat viscera, you got to eat more organs, and I don't like them. So this helped with that.
You have to eat more organs? I know that the carnivore diet is where you just eat meat and only meat. You never eat vegetables, which is dumb as dog shit also. I don't know why anybody would do something like that. That's not helpful. But you have to eat organs? I didn't know that was part of the diet. Wow, dude, that's disgusting. Why would anybody do that? I guess that's the only place you can get certain nutrients, I'm assuming? Is that real, or is this just like completely made up? Probably made up, right?
And to be fair,
oh, they're high in iron, I'm being told. The organs are. Okay, well, that would make sense, I suppose. You could also just, eat vegetables. It's an option.
Everybody should be eating more organs. That's one of the things. There's a lot of...
Oh my God, what a psychotic thing to say.
Things we don't do in modern...
This is something that you'd expect to hear from Hannibal Lecter.
Modern society that we just should be getting access to. And the whole animal has nutrients.
Yes.
And eating close to the bone is very important as well. These are all things we don't get the natural resources. But
eating close to the bone. Okay.
Well, we have the liver. So how I started on liver was my naturopath in...
Hey, shout out to Memi, I think, who said liver before she mentioned it on the thing. Yes, liver.
Amidst all of my issues, I bled for 8 months straight,
iron.
which is a lot on your body. My ferritin was 4. I was falling apart with a 9-month-old baby.
Right.
And a
9-month-old baby. Okay, so after she had the baby, she had like reproductive anomalies or oddities or whatever. Is that fair to say? knock me over with a feather once again. That's wild. Are you telling me that having a baby does a number on your body? No, she's not. She's not telling me that. She's telling me it was COVID, actually.
I didn't want to take iron supplements.
I'm sorry, not COVID. The COVID vaccine. She's telling me it was a COVID vaccine.
Supplements can be really, really tough on you, and I'm incredibly sensitive. So I didn't really want to do that. So my naturopath, okay, you can take beef liver. We'll test.
Naturopath? She has a naturopath? Oh my God, dude. Her naturopath told her this. Eat some liver? Okay. You know, when I was little, I had a homeopathic doctor. I didn't have a normal general practitioner. My entire life, I've never had one. Like, you know, as an adult, of course, you should have one. You should have one as a kid, too. But yeah, my mom did not do that shit. She went with a homeopathic doctor who, incidentally, also had some charges on him for, like, murder or malpractice or something. Like, some kids died because of this guy. And he lost his medical license and became a homeopathic doctor. My homeopathic doctor, really. God. Oh, don't go to homeopath or homeopathy. Don't go to that. That's really, really stupid, okay? Don't do it, please.
You again in 3 months. We'll see how you do.
Did you have any infusions of iron?
I didn't know.
Wow.
I did not.
Just so people know, a ferritin level, which is kind of the storage tank of iron, I like to see my patients at about 200. People can clearly have some.
It disturbs the hell out of me that he has patience. Also, we were supposed to be talking about the new conspiracy theory, and we are still in an advertisement right now. He is still advertising.
At ferritins of 20.
Two,
You were what?
Four. I was
Crazy.
really in trouble.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah, I don't believe her. I'm sorry.
when you bleed every day for 8 months, your body's not supposed to sustain
Wow,
that.
so no infusion,
Well, yeah, when you don't infuse.
no iron supplement, and you use this product.
I did beef liver, and then we found the bison. And when we found the bison, I was like, "Hey, educate me. Why is this better?" Well, did you know an organic cow can receive 17 vaccines but still be considered organic?
Oh my God, dude. You got to be joking with this. A cow can receive a vaccine and still be considered organic. The gall of the big cow industry. Just disgusting.
Well, I believe, what about hormones and antibiotics and other things?
GM.
Yeah, that's the problem, is hormones and stuff. Those are actually problems with cows and other meats that we eat. But she's not talking about that. She's talking about vaccinated cows. For real? I remember when being anti-vax was something that everybody laughed at you for. I remember when it was a left-wing thing. I'm not even sure if I was vaccinated when I was little. I have no idea. I don't talk to my mom. I have no way of contacting her, and I have no intent to contact her, no interest in doing so. She took me to chickenpox parties when I was little. I went to a chickenpox party. I had chickenpox, and it sucked. It was awful. That's the kind of mom that my mom was. You know, I guess she was trying, but she was doing the wrong thing. Insane, man. Insane.
GMOs that
Might
they
store
get
in liver.
fed, all the things.
Right.
Those
so this
can all
isn't
be
cattle.
present.
This is actually
This is bison.
so it's much more natural.
It's
no
completely clean.
vaccines,
It's
no
an-
hormones.
Entirely unadulterated source, as opposed
What constitutes adulterated in her mind? I guess it means it includes vaccines. That's just wild to me.
to the beef, which is what we traditionally get in, at a
Right,
health food store
right.
these days. So when I made the switch from beef to bison, and I realized within 3 days how powerful it was. It's literally, you can feel it. You've tried it.
Yeah, I still take it. I still do. The trifecta is one. Tell them about what trifecta.
You can literally feel it. Okay, and now they're advertising a new product, right? Trifecta? What's this new garbage?
is.
Trifecta is heart, liver, and kidney.
Yeah.
This
Oh, okay.
is the liver I wanted to spotlight because it is really great for women specifically, hormonal support, collagen support.
I do not believe a word out of her mouth. Where the hell is this other moon? There are supposed to be other moons around, right? And I can't move on until I hit them? Oh, there's one, apparently.
And it's a great jump if you already do beef to just the education process I find is a lot easier.
Tell us about the other products.
We have essential oils here.
Oh, my God.
These are organic essential oils.
I don't understand.
Essential oils are useless, by the way. I don't know who needs to hear that. Certainly somebody watching. Essential oils are another thing that my mom used to use. Echinacea and stuff. Tea tree oil for a variety of things. That shit can be really dangerous. Essential oils are not actually essential for jack shit. It's complete garbage, all of it. Don't use that shit. Really. It was useful 1,000 years ago for us, or so we thought, when we didn't understand anything about the scientific method. And I don't know where the hell this other moon piece is.
Stand essential oil.
Really? How do people use them?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of women swear by it. I don't get it.
Before I did this.
This is my stupidity again. I'm fully copping to it as a male.
Totally.
To help me understand.
Oh my God. As a male, I'm copping to my stupidity. Listen to this, dude.
So before I did this, I did oils.
I'll be that guy. Males are not inherently stupid. Okay? I don't know why he's even saying this. Like, this is really, really stupid to say just alone. This thing.
My course, did all the things, made products, went to farmers markets, had them in health food stores, like locally where we live. It was really great. But I fell into the oils because my son is 10 and he was extremely
She fell into the oils.
colicky. Didn't sleep. I tried everything that you can possibly try.
I bet you're saying it's too much horsepower.
He does.
Coming in.
He definitely does.
Actually,
he sure does. And it wasn't until somebody was like,
Isn't he 9 months old? Also, colic is something that babies have, I understand. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had to deal with it since my kid was very, very little, but it can be really miserable. Like, the baby just cries for absolutely no reason, just very, very unhappy, feels sick, I don't know. I don't know what causes it.
well, why don't you try some lavender essential oil? And I was like, what do you do? I didn't even know what an essential oil was.
Where do you put it?
Well, you have to dilute them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ingest them.
Okay.
Some people would say you can. I promise you can't. Don't do that.
Oh, so she's not the ingesty kind. Okay. She's just the, topical application-y kind of homeopath nutcase?
You can make cleaners with them. You can make little sprays.
I'm sorry, wait. Somebody's telling me colic comes from a milk allergy. Really? Is that what it is? Well, maybe it wasn't colic that my kid was dealing with, because my kid's not allergic to milk, or, has not had any issues processing milk. Most of the world, to my knowledge, can't process milk. Like, lactose intolerance is more common than lactose tolerance, apparently, right now. We just, evolved the ability to digest lactose fairly recently in human history.
Put it.
Well, you have to dilute them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ingest them.
Okay.
Some people would say you can. I promise
Right.
you can't. Don't do that. You can make cleaners with them. You can make little sprays with them. You can put them in the bathtub. You can dilute them with a carrier oil and put them on your pulse points.
Okay.
It's depending.
Your pulse points? Put them on your pulse points? What is a pulse point? No, I'm kidding. I know what a pulse point is. It's that. Is she talking about reflexology right now? Hold on. Let me look this up. What is a pulse point? Places on the body where it's possible to feel the arterial pulse are also commonly called pulse points. Okay, that's not conspiratorial. That's just how the body works. You can feel the pulse of the artery at some places on the body where the artery is close enough to the surface of the skin that you can feel the pulse of blood as the heart muscle contracts. So I guess on your neck or on your arm or whatever. So you're supposed to put essential oils on your pulse points? Why? Do you think that you're absorbing this stuff? Like you're ingesting it through absorption or something?
Depending on what you're trying to do.
Do people ever put them right here in the
under their nose?
I would not put it directly
It's too
under my
strong.
nose. I
Too
would
much.
put it on a cotton ball
Okay.
and then sniff it.
Oh.
If you were looking if you
Why?
You're doing
Raising
eucalyptus.
neurochemicals? Is that the idea? Or what?
It depends what you're doing. Lavender is obviously very calming. Eucalyptus is for congestion. Peppermint I love for headaches.
This stuff doesn't do shit for any of the ailments that she's describing right now. Peppermint for headaches? What? You tell me you're going to eat peppermint bark or something?
migraine sufferer. So I just dilute it, just a little bit of a
I'm
castor
guessing
oil.
if we think in terms of mechanism of action,
Castor oil.
probably changes vasodilatation and the in those passages.
I mean, when I know
Are you listening to what he's saying right now? A doctor, a real doctor, is using pretend nonsensical language to make it sound like this stuff is actually useful to somebody. This is deeply dirty. He has to know that this is complete nonsense, right? He must. I guess my doctor didn't when I was little, right? Because he was into homeopathy. He prescribed me to Meterinum. That was my homeopathic medicine. Everybody's body is different, and everyone needs a different kind of, homeopathic medicine. And apparently this stuff cures, I mean, it cures, quote unquote. What does Medarinum cure? Unlocking the healing potential of homeopathic medicines. Oh, Medarinum. Yeah, here we go. I mean, it doesn't fix anything, obviously. Emotional and behavioral issues. Medarinum fixes that, I guess, okay? Allergies and skin conditions. Asthma and respiratory issues. I don't have any idea what I was even using this stuff for. It was just like little sugar balls. Urinary and genital disorders. Okay, sleep disturbances. Wow. It cures nearly everything. That's amazing. This is insane. Adam Barnett says brain rot from huffing oils. Yeah, pretty much. That's where we're at right now. Huffing oils that she is now selling.
So I just dilute it, just like a little bit of a
So
castor
I'm guessing
oil.
if we think in terms of mechanism of action, it probably changes vasodilatation and the.
This is such bullshit. Changes vasodilatation. He's trying to lend credence to this complete nonsense. It's just disgusting, honestly.
In those passages.
I mean, what I know about them is actually they do change mood.
Well, that's going to say raise neuro.
Essential oils, they change mood? Really? Do you have a study for that? Can you show me a study? I'll take literally anything. Any evidence at all. Please.
Yeah, right. So it's one of the few things that can actually change your mood.
And they're ancient.
Right. You shouldn't trust studies. My mistake, right? Because that's Western medicine, not Eastern medicine. And Eastern medicine is inherently superior to Western medicine. Okay. So, my mistake.
And I get calls regarding patients where something is off. And really, the prescription is they need a change of mood.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
We are,
and you can do that with essential oils.
Are not paying enough attention to our brains. And it frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be done through pharmacological agents. Right. Sometimes life-saving. Sometimes there's many other things we could be, including just close relationships and 12, all kinds of things we can do.
12 steps is not a solution. 12 steps is garbage. People should not be using the 12-step program as a means to get clean from substances or any of that. It's a religious program. I know some people swear by it, even in my chat. It's a religious program. It started in a church, and the idea was to replace the drugs with God. Now, I understand that it's becoming more secular now and inclusive. You don't have to do the whole God thing, the higher power stuff. But 3 of the steps, I think, include some religious nonsense. If you want to have a secular set of 12 steps, then you're going to have to remove 3 of them. I remember going to a 12-step program for college. I was an addict myself. So it would have been justified for me to go on my own. But no, I never went to 12-step programs on my own. I went to secular therapy on my own. But for my substance abuse counseling, I went to a 12-step program as mandated by the teacher and wrote a whole report on it and everything. And at the 12-step program, the person said, now you don't have to have a higher power as in a God. Your higher power can be this book or whatever. It's well, what the hell does that even mean then? What do you mean by higher power? What are we even talking about right now? We're still in advertising mode, by the way, guys. Talking about a transdermal delivery system and getting it wrong. Yeah, you know what? I guess you're right. There is a transdermal delivery system. I guess that's possible. I think there are drugs that absorb through the skin. So yeah, you're right. I was kind of making a joke about the transdermal delivery system being stupid and ridiculous, sucking it up through absorption, but it is real, I guess.
This to me seems like one of those things that...
And it's easy.
It's easy.
And if it doesn't work,
this is what kills me.
It's no harm, no foul.
Exactly. Things that have no...
It's harmful because you're believing false things. Believing false things is inherently harmful, in my opinion. It's harmful to believe... I want to believe as many true things as possible and as few false things as possible. And this stuff actually does real world damage. Look at me. I turned out okay, luckily. But I had a homeopathic doctor, and this doctor was, a quack. And of course, it's completely 100% unregulated, so he could say or do whatever the hell he wanted. I had some serious lung problem when I was a baby, I guess, 1 or 2 years old. A serious thing happening with my lungs. My mom calls this homeopathic doctor that was, watching over me or whatever. And she says, what should I do? Like, his breathing is all messed up and, you know, it's just terrible. And the doctor says, put the phone up to his chest so that I can hear what's happening. I'm not even joking with this. So she did. And the doctor, she gets back on the phone. The doctor says, take him to the hospital. You know that some homeopathic doctors don't do that? They don't believe in going to the hospital or anything. I'm lucky that I had one who was probably a legitimate doctor, honestly, and prescribed nonsensical garbage for people because, you know, that was part of the job. But he couldn't work in the industry because he killed somebody. Again, I'm not sure that that's 100% correct. That's what my research turned up when I looked into the guy like years ago. So anyway, God, absolutely crazy. That's why it's harmful, at the very least, because people are buying into things that they think are going to cure them and getting themselves into really dangerous situations for no reason. Dying. You know, people are legit full-blown dying because some dumbass doctor told them that, you know, they need to take Metarainum for their behavioral issues, or their bronchitis is the result of like their, I don't know what, their muse being off or something, some other nonsense. That's why I keep saying it wrong. Homeopathy. That's why homeopathy is so dangerous and stupid, if no other reason than that.
No downside to get attacked. Like, come on.
That's how I feel about seed cycling, right? Many people don't know what seed cycling it is, but it's
seed cycling?
It's the idea that you can eat a different type of seed according to where you're at in your cycle, and it will either raise your estrogen or progesterone within your...
Okay. This is a new one. Seed cycling. I got to write this down. Seed cycling. Never heard of that before. I'm going to look into this. Seed cycling. Because my cycle is all off, and I love eating seeds. So it kind of works.
In your body, just seeds that you would buy at the grocery store.
Seeds like pumpkin seeds kind of thing? Or
sunflower. Yeah.
Sunflower.
This is dumb as dog shit, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy that's always bagging on people. But for this moment, I'm going to be that guy that's bagging on people who says he never likes to bag on people.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas.
Just ground up in yogurt. It's 2 tablespoons a day.
Nuts.
It's really not. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But also it's seeds. Like, it's
Right.
not a drug that you're
But
trying.
isn't it true that, you know, modern medicines, prescription drugs have only been around 50 or 60 years?
Some of them are brand new. Some of them have only been around for, 10 years or even 5 years. Like, I take Suboxone for addiction. And like today, like to this day, I do. And it's only been on the market since 2008 or 2009. It's only really existed and has been studied since the early 2000s, I think. And I've been taking it for like ever, since 2011, I think, 2 years into its lifespan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That what did mankind do for thousands of years?
Yeah.
They died. They died horrible, brutal, pointless, needless deaths. That's what they did. You're really unaware of this? You're a doctor and you don't know the history of brutal, ugly, terrible medicine? Okay.
To kind of manage.
Yeah. Not only that, how long has the randomized placebo-controlled trial been around? 50 years? 75
Yeah, not that long. Absolutely. And apparently now this guy is in favor of the randomized placebo-controlled trials. He thinks that's good now, apparently. Is that like the pinnacle of medicine? Because I think that that's extremely valuable. Placebo-controlled trials. I love it. Yes, everything about it. That's what these medicines have been through. The placebo trial. I'm sorry, the placebo-controlled trials. Well, is he against that or what?
or something like that. It's something on that order. And that now has become thus saith the Lord.
Right.
I mean, it's a good.
Oh, no. I thought he was going to endorse it, and apparently he's not. Okay. Everybody has biases. Everybody, right? Every single person has biases, and those biases manifest in ways that we wouldn't expect. So to prevent our own biases from coming in to the equation, you're supposed to give one group of people the medicine that you're testing and give another group of people a sugar pill, a fake medicine, and tell them that they're taking the real thing. And the scientist doesn't know either. which one is which until the end of the trials. And you can weed out pretty easily, the effectiveness of the drug. Is it within a margin of error, or is it completely useless? Is it really, really useful, like aspirin or ibuprofen or something? And what's it useful for? There are so many useful purposes for the placebo-controlled trial. And this guy is saying don't do it. Don't use the placebo-controlled trial. Are you kidding? Or, well, I guess he's not saying don't do it. He's saying it's not really useful. Did this guy take the Hippocratic Oath? I wonder. Like, he's worth absolutely nothing, seemingly, as a doctor.
Placebo-controlled trial been around 50 years, 75 years, something like that. It's something on that order. And that now has become thus saith the Lord.
Right.
I mean, it's a good instrument. I'm not being critical, but we treat it like it.
No, you are being critical. Yes, you are, actually.
It is literally, again, back to a religious sort of, like it is some canonized.
Are you fucking kidding me with this? Really? He says that placebo-controlled trials are a religious practice. People treat it like a religion. This is a joke. Jesus Christ, dude. And by the way, still an advertisement, okay? He hasn't moved on from the advertisement. God, I wonder how much she had to pay for this ad. This is nuts, dude. Anyway, yeah, tell me what you think about this in the comments. Dr. Drew is shameless, man, for real. This is shameless stuff right here.